good part of the day. I am Dilnoza Inoyatova, teacher at Bucharest State Pedagogical Institute. Today, I would like to inform you about from the subject Introduction to Literature on topic the structure of the literary work, its plot and characters. Okay, what are the 10 essential literary elements? They are plot, character, setting, narrative, point of view, and others. Now, the first one is plot. One of the most important aspects of a story is the plot. It is the sequence of events in the story, and it can be divided into three parts: the beginning, the middle, and the end. The beginning sets up the conflict and introduces the main characters. The middle is where the conflict is resolved, and the ending is where everything is tied up. Now, let's talk about the second type of literary element, its character. Characters are the people or animals that populate a story. They can be major or minor, good or bad, round or flat. Significant characters are typically more fully developed than minor characters. Good characters are those who the reader emphasizes with, while flawed characters generally are the antagonist. Round characters are complex and multidimensional, where flat characters are more straightforward. Literary elements are the building blocks of literature. They are essential ingredients that make up a story, poem, or play. Without literary elements, there would be no literature. Literary elements include plot, conflict, character, setting, point of view, and theme. They are essential because they provide a framework for the writer to tell their story. They give the reader a way to follow the story and understand what's happening. Literary elements are also essential because they can help create an emotional response in the reader. By evoking certain emotions, literary elements can make a story more powerful and memorable. Literary elements are an essential part of literature, and you should not ignore them. Now, the third part of the structure is setting. The setting is one of the literary elements that refers to where and when the story occurs. The setting can be real or imaginary, and it can be specific or general. In some cases, the setting is just as important as the other elements in the story because it can help to create a certain mood or atmosphere. For example, if a story takes place in a dark and gloomy forest, it's likely to be much different from a story in a bright and sunny meadow. Now, the fourth part is point of view. The point of view is a perspective from which an author tells a story. Authors can choose three different points of view: first person, second person, and the third person. In the first person point of view, the narrator is a character in the story and uses I to refer to themselves. This point of view is often used in autobiographies or memoirs. The fifth one is tone. When it comes to literary elements, the tone is often thought of in terms of the emotions it evokes the readers. However, tone also can refer to the overall attitude or mood that a piece of writing conveys. For example, a piece of with a light-hearted tone might make use of humor, while a piece with a severe tone might deal with more somber topics. Now, the sixth one is theme. One of the most important literary elements in the theme. The theme of a story is its central idea or message. It is what the story is ultimately about. Sometimes the theme is stated directly, while other times it's implied. But regardless of how it is presented, the theme is always an integral part of the story. Now let's talk about the conflict. What is conflict itself? A story needs conflict to be struggle between two opposing forces. It is what drives the plot forward and creates tension. There are four main types of conflict: men and men, men and nature, men and society, and men and self. In a story, one or two more of these conflicts will be present. Now, the eighth types of literary work is imagery. Imagery is one of the main important part of literary work. When used effectively, imagery can help readers feel as though they're experiencing the story firsthand. Good imagery can also help set the mood and atmosphere of a piece and create a stronger connection between the reader and the characters. Now, the ninth type of this is symbolism. In literature, symbolism is a significant literary element that can be used to add depth and meaning to a text. Symbols can be objects, characters, or ideas representing something else, such as a concept or feeling. For example, a white rose may symbolize purity, while a red rose may symbolize love or passion. Now let's talk about the narrative. It is the last element of structure of the literary work. The narrative structure is one literary element that's particularly important in shaping a story. It refers to how the events of a story are ordered and how they are related to one another. A well-crafted narrative structure can help to create a sense of suspense, excitement, and coherence, and can ultimately make more enjoyable to read. That's all about the structure of the literary work. Now, here you can see the literary analysis of Theodore Dreiser's novel Jenny Gezert. Theodore Dreiser's Jenny Gezert, published in 1911, it follows the plight of a socially disadvantaged woman whose love affairs with wealthy men put her in successful situations, but enable her to survive all the time. Dreiser was one of the naturalist school of thought. As such, his characters made choices that were opposite to the moral code of their time, while still maintaining a sense of morality. Jenny is example of this. Though she follows her romantic sensibilities into socially unacceptable actions, she's still painted as a good moral protagonist. Dreiser loosely based the novel on his upbringing with his two sisters as the inspiration for Jenny. Now, this is all about structure of the literary work, and I would like you to read and to listen to the information which has been given by me, which is very essential for you to know about the 10 elements of structure of the literary work. Thank you for your attention. Goodbye.